What's going on? What's going on? So, hey, a lot of things been going on the last couple of days. Um, Kambosos, he's been basically making it clear now himself, I guess probably after talking to his promoter, that hey, I'm willing to fight Devin Haney, but long as it makes business sense. You know what I'm saying? Everything has to be right in order for the fight to happen. And because he's been saying this, people are now screaming about how, oh, he's backing off the block. He's not being a man of his word. All of a sudden people are ducking Devin Haney. Oh, he's ducking Devin Haney. Somebody might be able to, is going to steal the fight from Devin Haney. Okay, first of all, number one, Devin Haney does not own Kambosos. Okay, he's not owed this fight in any way. All right. This is not something that will be, quote, stolen from him. It's not his to begin with. If he wants it, if his team wants it, then this is something they're going to have to earn. Just like Showtime, PBC did not steal Undisputed from DAZN. DAZN couldn't put up the money that PBC and the money that Showtime could put up. That's why they got the fight. They put up the $50 million, the $40 million for Canelo, $10 million for Caleb Plant. DAZN couldn't match it, so they got the fight. That's what happened with that situation. Devin Haney does not own this fight. Okay? He does not own Kambosos. So if he wants that Kambosos fight, he's going to have to pay for it. DAZN's going to have to pay for it. Eddie Hearn's going to have to pay for it. And it's kind of funny how before they had offered Teofimo Lopez $4 million for Undisputed. And that supposedly was supposed to be good enough. Okay, and what I was saying before at the time was, okay, they paid $3.5 million for Campbell. For Teofimo Lomachenko to fight Campbell in DAZN. They paid Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight Vargas on DAZN. But now for Undisputed, in what would be pretty much the biggest fight that you would have had on DAZN in Teofimo versus Devin Haney, and all he offered was this man was $4 million. So let's see. Let me see you offer Kambosos the same $4 million and see how that works out. It's obviously gonna have to be substantially higher than $4 million. Just like you should have offered Teofimo Lopez a substantially more amount of money than the $4 million you offered him to do Undisputed on DAZN. If they want this fight, they're gonna have to pay for this. And that's what Kambosos is basically saying. Hey, I want to fight you. I want the fight with you to be next. I want to, fight for Undisputed, absolutely. But it has to be right. AKA show me the money. Devin Haney, Eddie Hearn, DAZN, whoever's in that group is gonna have to come up with the money, whatever that might be, 7 million, 8 million, 10 million. It's come down to, do you want to invest in this kid or not? Okay, I remember when Earl Spence was fighting, he fought Bundu, and he fought right after the Olympics. I think it was on NBC or whatever channel it was on. And at the time, PBC was basically buying time slots. So for a time slot, during the Olympics, right after the Olympics had finished for the day, do you understand the amount of money they had to spend in order to get that spot? How many millions of dollars they spent basically so millions of people could see this basically prospect fight, because they believed in him and they believed in what he would become, what he'd be capable of becoming. They spent that bag. So the question is Eddie Hearn going to be willing to do that? Does DAZN believe that much in Devin Haney that they're willing to put up whatever it might take, $8, $9 million, $10 million, in order so he can put himself into a space where he can have all the belts and pretty much, besides Gervonta Tate Davis, have full control of the division? Because anybody else after that point that wants a belt, wants a championship belt, they'd have to come through him. They'd have to come through him. Tank, he don't give a damn about those damn belts. So, it wouldn't be Tank, because he could care less about those belts. Even when it comes to fighting Kambosos, he's saying, you can keep the damn belts. I don't care about your damn belts. I just want to fight you. Because it would be a big fight. And it'll be a lot of money in that fight. That's why he wants to fight him. So if Showtime, if Mayweather Promotions, PPC decide that, they want that fight, because I'm not even sure if they would want that fight, because no one's going to be, even in that situation, no one's going to be dictating anything to them. So they might not even want the fight. But, I'm sure they're going to talk with each other, and they're going to see if they can work something out. But regardless of what anybody might say, that's the biggest one. That's a fight with no ceiling. That's a fight that would be on pay-per-view. That's a fight that's doing a $5+ million gate. He would do a bigger fight, a bigger gate, fighting Gervonta Tank Davis in Atlanta or in Vegas or in California, a bigger gate than he would do fighting Devin Haney in Australia in front of 80,000 people. That's just the reality. That's just the truth. He would do a substantially bigger gate. Pay-per-view wise, they're doing 300,000 plus. Devin Haney wouldn't be on pay-per-view. You have your Australian pay-per-view, which you're still going to have if you fight Gervonta Tank Davis, but you're not going to have that with Devin Haney. You're not going to have a pay-per-view in the United States with Devin Haney. It would be on DAZN. So DAZN would have to, I guess, pay you some kind of fee in order to have their fight on their network. That's it. That'd be it. So if they decide that they want that fight, Gervonta Tank Davis and his team decides they want that fight, and they're willing to put up the money in order to do that fight, you're going to have to put that bread up. You're going to have to come out your pockets. This is a fight that you're going to have to pay. You didn't want to pay for it when Teofimo had the belts. But if you want it when Kambosos has the belts, which is a much easier fight to win than it would have been if Teo, obviously it wouldn't matter with Teo, with the stuff that he was doing. But if it was a focused Teo, that would have been a harder fight to win. But, okay, Kambosos has those belts. You can have those. You can have full control of the division besides Gervonta Tank Davis. Everybody else, you could have full control of that division. But you're going to have to pay up the money. And I know I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. You're going to have to pay up. This is a kid which $1.5 million was the biggest payday he's had in his whole life. So it's not like he's this guy that's been making big payday after big payday after big payday after big payday, and now he wants to do undisputed. This is not a Lomachenko that's been making $3+ million a fight for a couple of years now. This is not Devin who's been making $3 million a fight for the last couple of fights. This is not that. This is a guy whose his last fight literally was his biggest fight. He has the golden ticket, and he has to do everything that he can do to maximize what his earning potential for his next fight, for the sake of himself and his family. The man got a wife. The man got kids. You might win the next fight, but you might not. You might not win the next fight. This is a man who had 2 draws before this fight against Teofimo Lopez. So knowing that history, you got to do what's in the best interest of yourself and what's in the best interest of your family. And that's taking the biggest financial fight. Undisputed, that's all nice and everything like that. There's a whole bunch of poor people, that's nice, but it's not really going to do anything for you at the end of the day. Like they say, at the end of the day, belts collect dust. That's just the reality of it. You have to secure your family. Because when you're messed up and you're sitting there, if you're messed up and you're shaking and you're in your wheelchair and you're freaking poor as hell, or we have former champions that put everything on the line that are working at, Stop and Shops and Rite Aids and stuff like that, and the fans don't care. The fans are saying, hey, let me give you all this money so you can get out of your situation. They're not saying that. They're not doing that. Okay, so you got to do everything that you can and take this ticket and secure your family. If you have a few fights like that, then it's cool. Then you can make certain sacrifices. You can be like, now I'm going to take a little bit less money and do this. But until you get into that space, you have to maximize this particular situation. And Devin Haney and Eddie Hearn and DAZN are going to have to understand that. They're going to have to understand that, because I know what's going to happen if Devin gets all those belts and people coming up. I know how with the song Eddie Hearn's going to be singing. Well, we want to do the fight, but they have to be financially realistic, because we heard that before. We've seen when somebody had 3 belts on his side in the heavyweight division. We see how that whole situation went down. So you're going to have to put it up, but this whole, it's going to, he could steal this fight from Devin Haney. No. It's not a fight for that. He doesn't own this fight. He does not own this fight at all. Okay? He's going to have to pay for it, but it is a fight that he can pay for. And Eddie Hearn, the zone, better open up that vault, pull out that Brinks truck, whatever the hell they call it, and pull it up to Kambosos Avenue. Because in order to get that fight, that boy going to have to get paid. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.